Hello and welcome to the YVC Writing Center's MLA Works-Cited Print Sources presentation. We have another MLA Works-Cited, specifically online sources presentation as well. A separate video, check that out on YouTube, where you probably are, through our website. Speaking of websites, this is by no means an exhaustive look at MLA print sources on your Works-Cited page. Since we're trying to complete a quick video for you, since we know you're very busy with things to do. So if you want more details, we recommend going to the MLA Style Center for the 9th edition. And you can see here they've got all kinds of interesting things that can help you out and figure out how to format different citations. Also, there is our YVC Writing Center web page on the YVC website, and if you scroll down past all this cool stuff, you'll see our resources. And for MLA here, we've got your MLA Works Cited list, page formatting, in-text citations. Those are all downloadable PDFs, and videos you can watch like you're watching right now. These are the old ones. By the time you're watching this, they will have been replaced. Okay. On with the show. Let's get you started. We know you've got papers to write. So, MLA Works Cited Print Sources, Part 1. How to build a citation. Basic item order in an MLA Works Cited entry. Works Cited entries generally conform to the following pattern. Author, period. Title of source, period. Title of container, comma. Other contributors, comma, version, comma, number, comma, publisher, comma, publication date, comma, and location. If you've got all those things with your source. Since this can be overwhelming and a little bit vexing, here are the terms of citing things in MLA defined for you. Feel free to pause on this page or the next one or the next one. There are quite a few terms to get a grasp of what you're looking at. Piece by piece for your citations. An author can be the person, people, organization, company, or government that created a work. A title is the name, the actual name of your source. Titles of longer works or those containing smaller works appear in italics. However, titles of shorter works or those contained in a larger work appear in quotation marks. If a title is missing, provide your own description in its place. A container is a larger work or publication of which your source is a part. For example, an anthology, a scholarly journal, a newspaper, a website, a television series, a database, etc. More terms. What is a contributor? A contributor is anyone who contributed to the source or container in a significant way. For example, editors, illustrators, translators, directors, performers, narrators, hosts, etc. A version can be an edition of a book, a version of an app or website, a remaster of a game, a version of a film, for example, a director's cut or extended version, and so on. A number can be a volume for a book, a volume and issue for a scholarly journal, an issue of a comic book, a season, an episode for a TV show, etc. And our final little list of terms here. Publisher. A publisher can be an actual publishing company, but it can also be a sponsoring organization of a website, a government agency, a film distribution company, a record company, a TV network, and so on. A publication date can be the most recent copyright year for a book, the month or season and year of a scholarly journal issue, the year a film was released, the last update of an online article, etc. If an online source lacks a publication date, you can provide your date of access at the end of the citation instead. Lastly, a location is usually a page range for print sources and a DOI or URL for online sources. For some sources, like paintings or live performances, the location can be an actual place, i.e. Metropolitan Museum of Art, New York City, Neptune Theater, Seattle, etc. Moving right along. So, good thing to remember, important, not every source will have every element. Omit any elements that are missing in your source, except the title. If a title is missing, provide your own description in its place. Reminder, Aside from the basic elements of a citation, you can add supplemental information in two spots, right after your source's title and at the end of the citation. For example, if you need to add a contributor who worked on your source, but not its container, add their role and name after the source title. If you need to add a date of access or mode of publication, add that information at the end of the citation. Here are some examples. And these, of course, would be online through an app. So we're breaking our rule of a print, exclusively print. Sorry about that. Okay, so this would be an episode of The Mandalorian, Chapter 8, Redemption. And here's our supplemental material, directed by Taika Waititi, period. The Mandalorian, created by, and then you got all the stuff that's necessary. And then right at the end, a little bit more supplemental. Disney Plus app. Nice. It's good to add those supplemental details if you have them so that your reader can better understand your source on your Works Cited page. Citations by format, MLA Style Center, and here, since there was not a date available, the student has put accessed 20 July 2021. Awesome. Part 2. Basic format for a book. So here we see an actual physical printed paper book. So we got our author, Hogan, Linda, period. The title of the book, Solar Storms. It's self-contained, so it's in italics, period. And that was published by Simon & Schuster, 1995, period. Books are very easy to cite. If they're an anthology or a textbook, it's a little bit more difficult, but in this case, we've got what looks like a novel. So, work in an anthology or a textbook. Here you go. So, textbooks, anthologies, they will have a lot of works contained within them by all kinds of authors. They're kind of a neat collection. So, in this case, our author is Akebono, Joyce is the first name. The title of the work, written by Joyce Akebono, is, quote, Baby Yaga Blues, and that was found in the anthology or textbook, The Thoroughly Modern Monster, edited by Dean Mejia and Marcy Cox, and that's a second edition of this book, which is important because editions can change. Volume 2, published by Gold Obelisk Books in 2020, and then our page range, and this means more than one page, 5 through 19 is where this student found this work written by this author in this book, edited by these two people, this edition, this volume, published by them. Alright, hope it's starting to make sense. Graphic novel. Graphic novels are rad, of course. This one was written by Deanna Wallace, and the graphic novel's name, Humania, Queen of the Humans, illustrated by Farheed Singh, inked by John Poots, colored by Kim Soo Bin, and that was put out by Impress 2021. It's hard to remember all of these moves because books and other things that are printed can be so different, but that's why we have resources like this video that you can return to get a firm grasp at what you're trying to do. Scripture. So in this case, very easy, self-contained, both of these. The Bible, right? And then the King James Version. And this was also found on an app. Bible Hub is the container, app version 2.0, published by Bible Hub on the 26th of November 2021. And then we've got the Quran below there, self-contained source, translated by, that's important, N.J. Dawood, Penguin Books 2014. Moving right along. Class material. We see this from time to time. A student will have something specifically given by their instructor that they have to cite. So in that case, we have two examples here. In this case, how to use Turnitin. You can see that right there is the title of the printed work. Intro to Research Writing, taught by Lisa Maldonado. And that was contained on Canvas online. Fisker State U is the publisher of this version of Canvas. 4th of May 2021, and then the entire URL. Here we can see this was handed out by an instructor. Looks like this was a physical one. The one above what existed online on Canvas. So Langston Hughes wrote Silhouette, and that's been published in a million places. But in this case, the student received it through a course pack for History 213, Survey of U.S. History, 1865 and 1965, comma, compiled by Jacquette Beans in the spring of 2021, Larson College. There are your examples. Interview or other direct communication. Sometimes for an essay, you'll go out and interview somebody about something, and then you'll need to cite them as an actual source. So here are 3 examples you can see right there. Interviews are pretty easy to cite. They're short. So we've got the 3 different sources. This person was interviewed, this one, that one. Period, right? Zoom interview with the author, period. And that interview took place on 7 July 2021. This interview was a text message to Sarah Cohen. Interesting. 16 August 2021 is when that happened. And then this one was a personal communication with the author. So not quite an interview. And there is the person that was communicated with by the student who was the author. And that happened on the 10th of April 2020. Okay, so wrapping up here, discrepancies. You may discover discrepancies between style guides, online MLA resources, suggestions from Writing Center consultants, and instructions about using MLA from your instructor. When in doubt, always check with your instructor. They do control your grade, of course. This PowerPoint is based on the MLA Handbook, 9th edition, Modern Language Association of America, 2021. See, we're citing our sources. Hooray! And lastly, well, first, good luck on your citations on your Works-Cited pages for your MLA papers. Non-discrimination notice. Yakima Valley College does not discriminate against any person on the basis of race, color, national origin, disability, sex, genetic information, or age in admission, treatment, or participation in its programs, services, and activities, or in employment. All inquiries regarding compliance should be directed to the Executive Director of Human Resource Services, YVC, South 16th Avenue and Nob Hill Boulevard, Yakima, Washington 98902, or call 509-574-4670. Bye!